If you're looking to pitch the golf ball better, we've got a pitching cheat for you today to help you lower your scores, hit the ball a little bit closer and stop you duffing the shots just like the one on screen from here, which annoys us all. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Chris and this is Get Good at Golf, and if you want to do just that, make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's talk about this distance. It's the awkward distance that we all hate. We're 70 yards away. We don't know, is that a full shot? Is it a half a shot? I'm not good at half shots. I don't know how to take speed out it. I always duff it. I always miss hit it. And there's a few key things that a lot of you will do that we see every time somebody comes for a lesson in pitching that you can correct pretty quickly. So the first thing, if I set up to this golf ball, James is going to tell me what he sees first. What do you see first from this position? I see a lovely new jacket actually first. Oh, it is a nice fresh out the wrapper, that one. But I also see you stood far too far away as though you're going to hit it 100 yards. Correct. So straight away from here, James wouldn't know if I was hitting this 100 yards, 120, or just that 70-yard shot. And you're very wide. Exactly. So straight away, I'm too far away from the golf ball, but I've also got a wide stance. And this is what we see from a lot of people here, because you're only hitting a short shot. We're not making a full swing. And people will start to move off this ball because they've got a nice wide stance. And obviously from there, over such a short swing, we don't have time to get back to where we want to be. And we often see that people then hang back, and we'll see the classic that we might even top the ball, or we go into the middle of the golf ball and we send it straight through the back of the green. So if that is two shots that you struggle with, then these are two things that you need to think about. So I don't want to be stood a full distance away from the golf ball because I'm not making a full swing. I also don't want that stance too wide. But Chris, how do you know how close to stand? Because that's what everyone's asking. Exactly. So we need to think about, we want to be a little bit closer to that golf ball, and we want to get, if anything, the heel of the club just off the ground. And you'll also see that straight away I've started to narrow my stance. So as a rule here, we're going to be around about 1.5 feet away from that golf ball. And I know you'll be screaming, saying, what if I've got size 15 feet and I've got size 9 feet? Well, you can judge the distance from there. You can start to see I've got a nice size 9 shoe here, and it's around about 1.5 feet. So you can judge that with what you know from that distance. Stance width. Now for me, stance width from this distance right here, we're going to be just more than a club width apart. So a nice checkpoint is to pop your club in between your legs and just see it's just more than a blade length of a club. And then what we're going to make sure is that this left foot is turned out, and if anything a little bit more so than normal, and that's because we're not making a full motion. But if I turn that foot out, it's much easier for me to rotate those hips, because the key thing when we talk about the motion comes from that left foot being turned out. So once I'm in this position here, you might be thinking, okay, well, what am I trying to do from here? But you also might think, when you practice this, you'll be like, oh, well, I can't really get my energy into it, but that one's done really well. That's gone nice and high and just reached the front edge of the green. But you're like, well, I've had to put a lot of effort into that, and I don't feel like I've got any different results. So what we want to think about after we've got our stance narrow is the main focus is turning my chest. So we want to control that I'm going to rotate my chest back. I'm not thinking about hinging my wrists or doing anything with these. I'm just thinking, okay, if I rotate my chest away, I keep the club nice and wide, naturally I will get a little bit of wrist hinge, because it's very unlikely that I'm going to stand here and go like this, which is what we do see from some people. We've got to think I'm trying to let those fold nice and softly, and then from there the main focus is, now that we're nice and narrow and that left foot's turned out, I can turn my hips, turn my chest, and I'm going to come into a position just like this. So although not a full swing, we're still taking a little bit of loft off there. I would then follow through the shot, and I would turn, and my hips and chest would be towards the target. And again, we'll start to see that it's a little bit more compact on the way through, because what we see people struggle with from here is that, yes, I've got the narrow stance, I've got close, I've done two of the big things that Chris has mentioned in this video, but what we start to see is people think, okay, well, I can't get it there. You'll make a small swing, you'll think, oh, maybe that's not going to reach, and then we'll try and hit through. So how many times I see people have an incredibly short backswing and then the word we like to use is we wallop it on the way through. We try and hit it as hard as possible, and then again we start to struggle with our distance control. So one might go 100 yards, one might go 120 because we catch it thin, or one might go just in front of us because we've caught it heavy. We can't control that low point. So once my feet are narrow, once I'm just around about 1.5 foot away from the golf ball, we're going to make sure that we keep the speed nice and simple, we keep it nice and smooth. You'll see I've taken a little bit of a divot there. I've got that ball landing just short and releasing up towards the hole. So straight away there, I've been able to get an interaction with the turf. You see when we're pitching, we're going to take a nice small divot there, and we can also see where that came out of the club face. So yes, it certainly does need a spring clean, but you can see there a little bit towards the toe. That's because the heel's up, but you can see out of the middle of that club face. And straight away there, that is well inside tour average. And I didn't really have to try very hard there. So you might be thinking, okay, well, yes, it launched a little bit lower, but what do I do to get that to happen? So we've got the setup right, we've got our stance width correct, we're close enough to the golf ball, but now we need to think that when we set up to this golf ball, I'm not pushing my hands forwards, because this is a big error we see from a lot of amateur golfers. I'm going to make sure that my weight is left side, and you'll see the zipper on my new coat is ahead of the golf ball, and from here we can now just rotate around that position, and that's going to allow us to be able to get that ball launching a little bit lower, a little bit more spin, another nice divot, and you'll see extremely consistent, a little bit of backspin just left of the flag, but again well inside tour average, consistent distances, consistent divots, and for me that's going to help you get good at golf.
Also, what loft are you using there? Because I see so many people reach for a club that starts with a 6 and they really struggle.
Yeah, correct. So club selection, if you've got wedges in your golf bag, start to think, if you've got a 50, 54, 58, you might do it with your 50, you might do it with your 54, but if you go to your highest lofted, it's incredibly hard to get that ball launching a little bit lower. It's harder to judge your front to back dispersion. So this is where you need to make sure, go through your wedges, pick one that you feel comfortable with. It might be your 56, it might be your 54, and you're going to be able then to control your launch a little bit better, get the ball coming out how you want it. More importantly, get the distance control right, because if we do that, guys, you can hit it closer, you can lower your scores, you can get good at golf.